Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about zodiac signs and careers. I'm going to be going through the signs in chronological order and talking about what careers, jobs might correlate with those signs, and people of those signs, what careers and jobs they would feel may be compatible with. And this pertains to the sun and the ascendant or rising sign. So anyway, I'm going to go in chronological order. Let me get started. First off, Aries. Obviously, I think with Aries, something militant, no, not militant, but something with the military, any leadership position, sports. Minnesota Vikings defensive end Jared Allen, is a classic example. I mean, he's a fiery competitor. He knows. I mean, he can get into an opposing player's face. He when he feels he needs to. Very aggressive and assertive on the field. He's very fearless, and which is typical of Aries. And anything which I guess would follow the no fear concept, such as like a policeman, somebody in repossession, where things can become combative, or where confrontations can take place. Those are the things I think Aries seems to be suitable for. On the next sign I'm going to talk about, of course, is Taurus. And Taurus, I'd go with anything connected with physical labor, something where requires a lot of endurance and working methodically, laboriously. I had worked at a prominent retail outlet for a number of years, and I had a number of friends that were either Taurus rising or Sun in Taurus, and it was not, and they were in stocking position. And it's not really big of a surprise in a way, because it's something where you can work methodically, and stocking requires a lot of physical labor, and it's just very it's like I said, it's methodical. It's something for Taurus where endurance and stamina obviously is associated with it. In sports, I see them like as something like weightlifting. I have a number of friends that are either Taurus or have Taurus rising, and strongly involved in the weightlifting thing. And in this case, it wasn't really a profession, but this is something where I could see Taurus making it a profession. And it's not to say that some Taurus personality people, it's not to say they don't have not able to do things that require strong mental aptitude as well. Nikola Tesla, he's very renowned innovator, one of the greatest minds I believe ever. Number of inventions, and he's very ingenious. He figured prominently in the I believe in the AC, electricity supply system. He had Taurus rising, but he also had Mercury in Gemini, which is connected with the mind, and he was able to assimilate ideas and concepts and figure things out probably very quickly, and so a lot of that was attributed to that as well. Also, he had Uranus in the first house, I believe, and his appearance was even a little different than typical Taurus rising. He was slender, and he stood 6'2", so I mean, obviously not generally the Taurus norm as far as the appearance goes. Now, next sign I'm going to talk about is Gemini. And anything with speaking, communication fields, science, journalism, writing, broadcasting. James Bond author Ian Fleming was a Gemini. And another thing, I could see, they could do things which require a lot of mobility due to their restlessness, and they don't like to really be stagnant too long. So something like canvassing would be something appropriate for them, working as a door-to-door salesman, even in a car dealership, as a salesperson, talk fast, move fast. That's all aligned with Gemini, I believe. And the next sign I'm going to talk about, go to Cancer, and working out of the home and their solitude, kind of they could do things well, introverted type thing. Things associated with the home, such as home improvement, real estate, selling home insurance, online businesses, because online, of course, you can work out of your home, and home decorating. And I'm a Cancer. I do astrology videos, from the home. Even though it's not a paying thing, it's still, I consider it still work that I do, and this is done out of the home. Next sign I'm going to get to is Leo. Something, anything with courage and fortitude, the military, a leadership position. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, people, but he was a prominent U.S. Army General, Norman Schwarzkopf. I don't know if I'm saying that 100% right, but he was a double Leo. He had Sun in Leo, and he also had Leo ascendant. And anything, like I said, military leadership, that was very suitable for him, I think, as far as astrologically speaking goes. And acting, anything with notoriety. Robert Redford, renowned actor, is a Leo. Taylor Swift has Leo ascendant, and she's obviously, I don't know if she's, really is trying to be like, flamboyant or anything really strongly connected with, Leo as far as that part of Leo goes, but she's very charismatic, magnetic, and she has, tremendous stage presence, which is associated with Leo. Next sign I'm going to get to is Virgo. Virgos are, obviously, they're very detail-oriented. They could thrive in a detail-oriented profession, data entry, things with cleaning, intellectual fields, health fields such as fitness instructor, nutritionist. Mike Shanahan, the coach of the NFL's Washington Redskins, is a Virgo. Now, I understand this is sports, but a lot of analysis goes into coaching, devising schemes, analyzing, studying other team schemes and plays and plans and so forth and so on, and knowing how to counter them. And that's something that's very strong, Virgo related. And I think, we see the Virgo in him, come game day, as far as his coaching goes. Now, next sign I'm going to talk about is Libra. And Libras, obviously, they're very fair. They're about equilibrium, balance. A judge could be one profession. I'm sure a lot of you remember, when Ed Koch was on People's Court. He was one of the more famous judges ever, and he has Libra rising. They could work as an attorney, anything with the judicial system in general, a mediator, sports arbitrator, referee, interventionist. A marriage counselor is, could be ideal for Libras because they have that ability to reconcile and make peace between parties. Anything, with artistic endeavors, anything associated with beauty, they would be good doing, I believe. Now, next sign I'm going to get into is Scorpio. Scorpio, obviously, one of the things that I see with them is psychology, psychiatry. Renowned father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, had Scorpio rising, and I'm not really flabbergasted by that. Also, anything with forensics, detective work, even like Scorpio is, I believe, the most occult of all the signs, astrology, the metaphysical, anything, even hypnotists, anything where they're getting to the bottom of matters and finding out the truth. They love conundrums and they love to deduce mysteries, and that is a Scorpio thing. Next sign I'm going to talk about with careers is Sagittarius. Now, the obvious thing, sports, physical fitness. Legendary Major League Baseball player Ty Cobb was a Sagittarius. Martial art expert Bruce Lee was a double Sagittarius, Sun and rising sign in Sag. Anything with philosophy, teaching, working as a professor, theology, religion, something that might involve traveling, even travel agent could be ideal for Sagittarius. Motivational speakers, they have, unbridled, expansive optimism, so I think that would be ideal for Sagittarius. Next sign I'm going to get into is Capricorn. And Capricorn, just business in general, because they're so shrewd in business generally, they're arguably the best sign for this, I believe. Upper management, ownership. George Steinbrenner had worked, obviously very famous Major League Baseball owner for the New York Yankees. And, really not very often did anybody outsmart him. He was very shrewd, cunning as an owner. He knew how to acquire the best players. Don't get me wrong, the Yankees had, a lot of wealth and affluence, and that, played a role in obtaining the players, but he was very good in acquiring who he needed on his team and to make his team flourish. Accounting, bookkeeping, those are things that, Capricorn, can do. General labor, anything that requires being reliable and dependable is something that Capricorn, I think, can thrive in. Next sign I'm going to talk about is Aquarius. And Aquarius, one of the things, inventing, innovation, Thomas Edison, I'm not flabbergasted to hear he was an Aquarius. Something with computers, electronics, science, even doing things of unusual fields. Now, I don't know, I honestly didn't look this up before doing the video. I don't believe he got money for it. He may or may not have, but the person that did the tight-roping thing across the Grand Canyon, Nick Wallenda, he's an Aquarius. And Aquarius can often choose, very, obviously an unorthodox or unusual, profession, paid or unpaid. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about Pisces. Now Pisces, they could work with things, I think, connected with, deception, like illusionist, magician. Acting, because acting is creative and it gives them the opportunity to be someone who they're not. They're putting on a different face before the public. Even things, that of an abstract nature. Albert Einstein, renowned theoretical physicist, he was a Pisces. So I mean, Pisces is good. It could be very good at mental studies and fields. So and as far as the signs go, that is it. And people, in my next YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be continuing my aspect segment series, and I'm going to be dissertating and talking about, I believe it's Saturn in major adverse aspect to Neptune in a natal horoscope. And until next time, people, stay well.